I'm waiting for people to join. Hi guys, it's Katie. We're on episode 2 of Chatting with Katie, and today we are going to talk about how to organize your child's IEP into a binder and then make a file box also. This will help you organize and keep track of things, because when you have a student who has a disability or has an IEP, there's a lot of paperwork that comes with that. So you're going to want to tune in. I'm only going to take a few minutes, so I'll get started when I see a few people. And also, if you would like me to email you a copy of the forms that I used today, just drop your email address into the comments or message us on Facebook, and I'll email you a copy of all of the forms I use. So, ready to get started. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a file box, and I use this for my son who is 10 years old, and he's going to 5th grade next year. And so when he was born, I was like, I need a way to organize all of these papers from school. So I didn't want to put it with the rest of my files in like a filing cabinet. So I got a file box, like from Walmart or Office Depot or wherever. And then it's important to note, can you see that? It says confidential, because IEPs, all of that paperwork is super confidential. All right, so buy yourself a file box, and then you'll need to buy some hanging folders. See the little edges? And you'll see that each one has a tab. Can you see it? There we go. So this one says pre-K. He got his first IEP in school system in pre-K. So if you look, this is kind of hard. It'll go all the way up to 12th grade or college or however you need. So each file, you'll put their IEP in there. So I don't have one for 5th grade yet, but like 4th grade, I've got his IEP, and then his evaluation, progress reports, all of it go in these little file folders. So that's the file box. Now this is, so whatever grade your student is in, you're going to want to keep their current IEP or whatever you're working with that school year in the binder. All of his old IEPs or evaluations go in the file box. So this is just a blank template to use, and this is about a 2.5 maybe. You might need bigger, depends on how much paperwork your little one has. So I'm going to go over this sheet with you, and if you want this, let me know and I will email it to you. So it says, are y'all reading that backwards? Can y'all comment and let me know? Because I'll stop. Guys? So it says Iep Binder Checklist, and you're going to use the current grades. So whatever grade, so like if they're in 3rd grade and you're working off that 3rd grade IEP, it'll be according to this. So the first section is communication. So you'll have a school contact list, communication log, letters and emails to and from the school, yada yada. It is backwards? Okay, well I'll just stop. Your next section is going to be evaluations, because they'll get evaluations every 3 years. IEPs, whatever IEP they're working on, report cards, sample work, behavior if they have a behavior plan or something, and then medical if they have a health care plan. But of course, if they don't, then you don't need to use that, and hopefully you won't have to. So I'm going to show you like this, even though you can't really read it. It's kind of blurry. So this is, I have the checklist in a page protector, sheet protector. You're going to want those. And it's at the beginning. And then you're going to need some dividers. So this first section, this first tab says communication. So the first page is school contact. So you'll say the name of the child's school, address, phone, and then it says position, name, email address, or phone number. So I already have some listed out like principal, assistant principal, secretary, nurse, homeroom teacher, special education teacher, yada yada. And then at the bottom, more like parish contacts for like pupil appraisal or IEP facilitators. This is a quick reference for you to be able to have. The next part is a communication log, and I've already written many of these things, so you just have to fill it out. Every time you make contact with a person at your child's school, you're going to want to log it whenever you get home, or you could write notes in your phone and then go log it so you don't forget what y'all talked about. I read a study in the Journal of Gerontology, I think, a while back, saying that caregivers or parents to kids with disabilities, we experience memory loss. Go figure. Our brains are so full of stuff. So having this for you to flip through, and you just print it with multiple pages because you're going to use them up. Having this to refer to is very helpful. You're going to want to, you'll say, oh, what did we talk about? I can't remember. Well, if you logged it, you know, it's great. Okay. So letters from your school or from the teachers or just general information, particularly to your student or to your child, would go in this section. I just left it blank. A school calendar or the parish calendar. A copy of the school's handbook is good to have on reference. All right, so the next section is evaluations. So occasionally you'll have to request or you'll get a referral for an evaluation. Does anybody know how often you have an evaluation in the public school systems? 3 years or sooner if something else comes up. But it's typically every 3 years they'll have a reevaluation. So you will sign a consent form with a date on it, and you'll send that back to the school giving your permission to do the evaluation. You're going to want to keep that right here because if they're taking too long, you can go back and refer to this and the date. So the school evaluation would go here, and they're lengthy. If you happen to have a private evaluation for your child, you can put it here as well. All right, so the next section is IEP. So I have a nice big copy of the parents' rights and procedural safeguards. Every time you go to an IEP, they're going to offer you a nice big packet and say, you can wallpaper your house with them because you're going to get so many. Has anybody ever been told that? I have. And I used to be a special education teacher, but I never said that. So if you want a copy, great. If you don't, you can say, I've got one. Thank you. Okay, so then, I printed out a template of an IEP, but I must have missed the first page. So their current IEP would go here, and it'll have lots of stuff on there. Lots of blue and typed words. All right, next is prior written notice for the IEP meeting and any notes that you took during the meeting. And then the last thing in this section is progress reports. You'll get a progress report on each goal that your child has in that IEP. And that progress report lets you know how they're doing in achieving that goal. So a lot of times parents don't know what that is, but that's what it is. And you keep those in right after the IEP in this section. So, and you get the progress reports with the report cards. Some parishes have it every 6 weeks, some parishes have it every 9 weeks. So be expecting the progress report to see how your child is doing on meeting their goals. All right, the next section is report cards. And so Connor didn't really get a report card. Or it did, I don't know. So you put the report cards here and you just stack them up every 6 or 9 weeks. Sample work. So if your child is doing great and you want to know what they're doing that year, as far as like, is he writing correctly? Is he writing some of his letters backwards? Or if you have concerns, you don't have to keep everything because that'll be a lot of stuff. So I recommend just keeping 1 or 2 things out of every month and keeping it here for your reference so you can go back and look. Their handwriting is very important to be able to track and see it progress, and that's a good thing. Let's see. So the next section in this part is for Iep scores if your child is in grades 3 through 8, and then you can keep those here, or DIBEL scores where they measure their reading fluency, or benchmark testing. And if they don't send it home, you need to call up there and say, hey, can I get a copy of their benchmark scores or their DIBEL scores? I know they always send home the Iep scores, so keep those here. All right, next section is behavior. So this is just a template of a BIP, behavior intervention plan, that one parish uses, but they can look differently according to where your child is going to school. So you're going to keep a copy of their BIP, and then any disciplinary notes or referrals that your child might receive at school for this IEP year, keep them right here after their behavior intervention plan. You're going to want to keep very good documentation over the course of the years. All right, and then medical. So your child might not have medical issues, and that's awesome. But if they do, you want this section. So this is like a template of an individualized healthcare plan that the school nurse will write on your child about their diagnosis or any medications that they have. Can't think of the word. Side effects. Possible side effects that a medication might cause. It'll all be included on this. And this goes actually right after the student's IEP as well. And then any notes from the school nurse that she sends home, you keep in this section. And then medical documentation from the doctors. So like they might need to write a letter of medical necessity or give clearance to physical therapy or occupational therapy or whatever, if there's a medication change or if there's a new diagnosis added, you're going to want to make copies. So a copy for you and then a copy for whoever else needs it in the school system. And that is all. So again, let me know if you want a copy of the forms I use. I've been using these for a few years just for myself. Drop me your email address in the comments or message them to us, or you can call our center, and I will gladly email you all the forms that I use in the Iep Binder to help you stay organized. So just a quick reminder, the binder is for the IEP year. So if your child is in 5th grade, everything according to that IEP and that grade would be in the binder. And so let's say he finishes 5th grade. You're going to take all of these documents out and you will find your 5th grade folder, file folder, and you'll put it in. So all of the notes, all of the notes, the sample work, their report cards, their progress reports, all of it. Just take it all out and then put it in that appropriate grades file folder. So eventually you'll have all 12 folders filled up, and it will save you a lot of headache, and it's just wonderful to be organized. I'm a organizational freak. Jeff's laughing at me because he knows I am. So thank you. I see one person has already given me their email address. I will email you the forms I use and then like a little checklist of what you need to buy in order to get these done. And I believe that is all. So, I hope you learned something. I hope you will be able to utilize these resources, and feel free to, where have we been for the last 6 years of my child's life? We've been here. You might not have just known about us. So we're happy to help in any way we can. So next week, next Tuesday, June 13th at 9:30 a.m., tune in for episode 3 of Chatting with Katie. I will be at Florida Parish's Human Services Authority in Hammond. If you don't know what that is and you have a child with a disability, you definitely want to tune in. I'll be speaking with Ronna Burkett. She is the waiver manager. And if you don't know what a waiver is and your child has a disability, tune in, because you're going to learn a wealth of information. So, as always, thank y'all for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing y'all next Tuesday, June 13th at 9:30. Bye, guys.